that these nurses can give.
Well, that's at least good news from the bad news that you gave me on the EO 47. And okay, let's come up with a unified front, Jerry. How do we, as you said, Manila is already doing something about it. What about Cebu? Do we need to tap the local government or the Regional Development Council to send a message to the president that he's just made a wrong move on this EO?
Now, actually, this NICP thing, it's more of a provincial movement rather than a Manila-centric movement. So, in fact, right now, the president of NICP is somebody from Bacolod, Attorney Josel Batapa Sige, who is now leading this movement for to openly show resistance to this EO 47. So, NICP is quite sad about the downgrade of CICT, since CICT has been strongly supporting NICP, or the National ICT Confederation of the Philippines. So without CICT, then NICP will feel less support coming from the government. So that's why we're really concerned about this.
Well, Jerry?
Well, I think a position is important. We need to, as different industry organizations, we need to take a certain position and communicate this to the government. However, I've always been, I think it's a Cebuano mindset. I've always had the mindset that, yeah, the government can do that, but that'll never stop us from actually making things happen.
Yes.
So, what I suggest a two-pronged approach. One is to bug the government that this is probably something they need to reconsider, or at least communicate more effectively to the stakeholders why it was done and what was the wisdom, or whatever you call it, behind that move. No? But at the same time, we continue to work as an industry.
Yeah.
No, we solidify our partnerships, we solidify our access to the market, and other organizations, like for example the city government here has been very supportive of the ICT industry, the CIPC and all these organizations. When we band together, we can actually still capture a very decent, I'd say, chunk of the market. However, what I'd like to stress relative to that is that there needs to be a national strategy for this industry.
Yes.
Whether it happens now or later, there has to be a national strategy. It's a $9 billion industry.
Wow.
It's projected to be $25 billion in 2016. Therefore, if the projections are right, it will equal the projections of all the OFW remittances in 2016.
That's true.
So just imagine if you'd have two $25 billion industries, really churning out employment and bringing in much needed
foreign
currency and investments. You actually have not one star but twin stars.
Yes, true.
In the whole scheme of things. So it's a setback, but I think we need to focus on building this national strategy. It has to be done, and it has to be led by government. Nobody else can do that.
Well, like I said, we can tap the resources. We can tap the mayor's league. We can tap the councilor's league, the governor's league, all the RDCs, and to coming up with, if you come up with a mother position paper and everybody adopts it, I think the Aquino administration will have no choice but to change tactics or change their ways and maybe return it back to where it was before, because they should not be the executive branch should not be the stumbling block to the growth of this industry, which has become the really backbone industry for the rest of the Philippines. But as I said, I'm not the president, and I will never try to predict him. But if we have enough voices, I think he will relent. And unfortunately, we run out of time. We'll ask our guests for the parting shots after this break.